Hey, HannahMouse1 here, welcome to part 4 of my Pumpkin Patch Panic tutorial series, where I'll show you how to make a Halloween themed game over the course of a week. Last time we added the enemies, and today we'll be sorting the more technical elements like a timer and the UI. Let's start by adding a new variable for all sprites called timer. In the workspace for the stage, add a new when I receive play block, and to this attach a switch backdrop to gameplay block and a set timer to 60 block. Then add a repeat loop, repeating 60 times, and within this loop we want to wait 1 second and change time by -1. After this loop, we want to broadcast, select new message from the drop down and call it end. Then switch backdrop to end screen. Now we need to go through our sprites and make it so that ending the game actually stops the scripts. First go to the player sprite and add a when I receive end block. To this we want to attach a stop other scripts in this sprite block and delete this clone. Drag the script onto both the pumpkin and enemy sprites to copy it to those workspaces. Finally go to the box sprite and drag in a when I receive end block, and to this add a hide block. Super simple, we now have a time limit and an end screen. Let's create some UI to display the timer and your score. Go to the UI sprite and add a when I receive play block. To this add a hide block. Then create a new block, call it clones, and make sure that run without screen refresh is selected before hitting OK. Then create a new variable for this sprite only called this value. Attach a goto block to the clone defined script and set x to be -215 and y to 160. Then set this value to 0 and create clone of myself. Then change x by 28, add a repeat loop, repeating 5 times, and within the loop change this value by 1. Create clone of myself and change x by 22. After the loop, change this value by 1, then add another goto block, this time with the x value 195 and the y value 160. Create clone of myself and change x by 22. Then change this value by 1 and create another clone. Attach a clone block to our when I receive play script. All of the clones we need will now be created. Now add in a when I start as a clone block, and to this add a show block and a forever loop. Within this loop add an if-else statement with the condition this value is equal to 0, and in this case we want to switch costume to pumpkin icon. This will indicate that the following clones will display how many pumpkins the player has collected. In the else portion add another if-else function, this one with the condition this value is equal to 6. This will display the 10 digits of the timer, so let's add another if-else statement. The condition of this should be if timer is greater than 9. In the if portion of this, switch costume to letter 1 of timer, else we want it to hide as it's not needed to display the timer. In the empty else function add another if else function, this time with the condition this value is equal to 7. Within this function add another if else statement, again with the condition timer is greater than 9. In the if portion switch costume to letter 2 of timer, else switch costume to timer. The rest of the clones will all go to displaying the score. We need to check whether the clone is needed to display the score, so add in an if else statement with the condition this value is greater than length of score. In the if portion hide, and in the else portion add a switch costume to letter this value of score and show. We then want to handle the UI for the game over screen. What I want is for the timer UI to go away and for the number of pumpkins to be displayed in the center of the screen. To do this, drag in a when I receive end block, and to this add an if else statement. Set the condition to be if this value is greater than 5 and drag a delete this clone block into the if portion of the statement. Drag another if else statement into the else portion, this time with the condition if this value is equal to 0. In the if portion add a goto block with y position 18. For the x position drag in a minus operator and drag in a multiplication operator into the left hand side of this. Type -11 into the first input space, and for the second we want length of score. For the other side of the minus operator type 16. Copy paste this goto block into the else portion. Now take the equation from the x input and move it into the left hand side of an addition operator. Replace the 16 with a 10. For the other side of the addition we need a multiplication. 22 times this value. This now acts as we need it to. Let's create a start screen. Go back to the player sprite and find the when green flag is clicked script. Remove the broadcast play block and replace it with a hide block. Then go to the play button sprite. Drag in a when green flag is clicked block and attach a goto block to this. We need x to be 0 and y -60. Then switch backdrop to titles, switch costume to play and show. Then add in a forever loop. Within this loop, set size to 100% and then set brightness to 0. Drag in a wait until block with the condition touching mouse pointer. Then copy these 3 blocks and put them in the end of the loop. Change the new size block to be 115%, the new brightness block to be 15, and then take the touching mouse pointer condition out of the new wait until block and move it into a not operator and put that back in. Then drag in a when this sprite is clicked block and attach a broadcast play block, and then a hide block. Finally, add in a when I receive end block, and to this attach a switch costume to replay block and a show block. And with that we have a working start screen, UI for the timer and score, and a working game over screen. So I think we can call it quits there. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did. It lets me know that there's something to see more. more of, join the Discord link down below, and I'll see you tomorrow when we'll be adding in the sound, setting up the thumbnail, and getting this game published on both Scratch and itch.io. Bye!